wonder what happens when you mix hot lava and chicken?
Minecraft in the United States in one weekend made more money than Snow White has made globally after 3 weekends.
Rachel Zegler then inexplicably continued to post herself in an empty theater for her own movie.
In a stunning turn of events that has sent shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond, actress Rachel Zegler finds herself at the center of a mounting media firestorm as Disney's much-hyped live-action Snow White remake struggles disastrously at the box office, while the unexpected juggernaut Minecraft movie soars past the $700 million global mark in under 20 days.
She's literally the only person there. Meanwhile, the experience at Minecraft goes something like this.
What has made this situation all the more sensational is the emerging narrative that Zegler, rather than confronting the film's own internal missteps, has allegedly begun deflecting blame onto outside factors, including the roaring success of the Minecraft adaptation, suggesting that the attention and audience dollars going toward a silly video game movie are among the reasons behind Disney's latest high-profile flop.
Chicken
This deflection, insiders argue, has only fueled frustration among both critics and audiences, who see Zegler's failure to acknowledge the film's creative and promotional shortcomings as a glaring red flag, intensifying the backlash surrounding her role in what was supposed to be one of Disney's crown jewels.
The future of Hollywood is being battled out right now in theaters as two live-action remakes from the biggest studios in Hollywood go head-to-head.
Instead of accepting the mounting evidence that poor script choices, tone-deaf messaging, and controversial interviews may have alienated fans, Zegler has, according to reports, looked outward for scapegoats, deepening public resentment toward her and the project as a whole.
Warner Brothers' Minecraft movie versus Disney's Snow White, which in theory should be quite a battle, but it's not even a fair fight.
Making matters worse for Zegler is her persistent pattern of deflecting responsibility, a strategy that is drawing significant criticism from both the media and former supporters alike. Despite ongoing commentary about the film's narrative missteps and her own widely criticized public statements, Zegler has reportedly pointed fingers at everything from toxic social media trolls to a supposedly hostile filming environment, and even hinted at a lack of support from co-stars, all while sidestepping any real accountability for her own conduct throughout the press tour.
Snow White, of course, famously played by the insufferable girl boss narcissist, who's just clinical at this point, saying that audiences will always line up to see her no matter what she does.
Premiere.
Observers note that the problem isn't merely the backlash itself. Backlash was anticipated given the polarizing choice to modernize such an iconic fairy tale, but rather Zegler's apparent refusal to own her part in the disaster.
And everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Instead of issuing a sincere mea culpa or acknowledging the controversial interviews in which she openly mocked the original Snow White film, Zegler has continued to lean into a narrative of victimhood, painting herself as a target of unfair criticism while failing to address how her dismissive remarks about the franchise's beloved legacy fueled the discontent now boiling over among Disney's core audience.
You know what's interesting about all this is that the only person waiting in line to see Snow White was Rachel Zegler.
Adding fuel to the controversy is the resurfacing of an emotional video clip from Zegler recorded during the early days of the Snow White project's promotion, in which the actress, visibly shaken and on the verge of tears, expressed feeling isolated and overwhelmed by the volume of hate directed her way before the film had even premiered.
Rachel Zegler then inexplicably continued to post herself in an empty theater for her own movie. Literally the only person there. And do you not understand how humiliating this is?
At the time, the clip generated sympathy, with many interpreting her vulnerability as evidence of the internet's unforgiving cruelty. However, in light of the subsequent firestorm surrounding her dismissive comments about the original film and her combative tone during interviews, that clip has taken on a far more complicated meaning.
Meanwhile, the experience at Minecraft goes something like this.
Critics argue that while Zegler may have initially been subjected to unfair personal attacks, the continuing backlash has been largely self-inflicted by her refusal to respect the audience's emotional connection to the original story and her tendency to frame dissenting fans as antagonistic or ignorant, a move that has only served to harden opposition and erode what little goodwill remained.
And the cops had to escort the rowdy teenagers out. The Minecraft movie is doing something magical. It's creating a live audience reaction event.
As the fallout continues, Disney itself appears to be scrambling behind the scenes, quietly reevaluating its entire live-action remake strategy following the devastating performance of Snow White.
Encouraging to see a movie that decided to do the opposite of Snow White, which is, according to all available reviews, including from the people that I trust the very most on this platform.
According to industry insiders, the studio has put several upcoming projects on hold, including an adaptation of Tangled, signaling that what was once considered a surefire formula for box office dominance is now under intense scrutiny.
It is non-political. The Minecraft movie does not try to beat you and box you about the ears with the message.
These internal reviews, often corporate euphemisms for cancellation, suggest that Disney is well aware of the depth of the problem. This is no longer simply about one actress or one film, but about a fundamental miscalculation in how audiences respond to heavy-handed reimaginings of cherished classics.
Whereas the Snow White model is the message ad infinitum, shoved directly up your ass, and, most importantly, in the most insufferable possible way, like screamed at you.
The Snow White failure stands as a stark warning against the studio's broader attempt to modernize fairy tales by stripping them of their original charm in favor of overt social commentary, a move that many fans argue has backfired spectacularly.
And so let's see how they fared against each other. The Minecraft movie breaks box office record with $300 million global opening, while woke Snow White slips again.
Amidst this PR nightmare, actor Jack Black has emerged as an unlikely but powerful counterpoint to Zegler's defensive posture, delivering what many now describe as a masterclass in humility and grace under pressure.
In theory, Snow White should as well. Snow White's the movie that made Disney, the studio. They should have been more cautious and careful with their own IP.
During a promotional interview with IGN about his role in the Minecraft movie, Black took the high road, refusing to gloat over the film's stunning box office success. Instead, he issued a simple yet devastatingly effective statement: "An actor prepares." With these 3 words, Black implicitly contrasted his own focused, joyful approach to filmmaking with the chaotic and antagonistic messaging that plagued the Snow White campaign.
The Disney Snow White, faithfully adapted, would have made $1 billion. Everyone knows this.
Without ever naming Zegler, Black's comment resonated deeply with fans and industry professionals alike, positioning him as the epitome of professionalism while reinforcing the idea that respect for the source material and a positive relationship with the audience remain crucial ingredients for cinematic success.
So the film received a low score on Rotten Tomatoes, but 87% fan approval. The rankings were very similar to Snow White, which received a 40% critic score.
This stark contrast between Jack Black's celebratory, fan-focused engagement and Rachel Zegler's dismissive attitude toward the original Snow White narrative has not gone unnoticed by the public.
Rachel Zegler, who was cast in the title role, but some diehard fans were upset that Zegler, who identifies as Colombian American, was cast to portray the Disney princess.
While Black expressed enthusiasm for embracing Minecraft's legacy, even sharing stories of playing the game to connect with his children, Zegler repeatedly distanced herself from the fairy tale origins of her own film. She famously called the original prince a stalker.
It got destroyed at the box office. Here's the box office numbers. The Minecraft movie made $60 million on Saturday. Snow White made $2 million.
And derided the love story as outdated, alienating a fan base that had long adored the classic Disney romance. Black's nostalgic embrace of his project, coupled with his humility and gratitude, only magnified Zegler's perceived arrogance, fueling the narrative that the Minecraft team understood and respected its audience, whereas Disney and Zegler did not. The cultural divide between these two marketing approaches was crystallized in a viral meme that swept across social media, depicting Jack Black roasting a chicken in lava. A playful Minecraft reference, but with Rachel Zegler's face photoshopped onto the chicken. Though Black had no involvement in the meme's creation, its explosive popularity underscored the extent of public frustration toward Zegler while elevating Black as the accidental face of the anti-preachy, joy-first creative philosophy that many fans now crave. The meme served as a cultural shorthand for the entire controversy, with Black embodying lighthearted fun and Zegler symbolizing the heavy-handedness that audiences have come to resent in modern reboots. Further complicating the narrative was the addition of co-star Gal Gadot's diplomatically worded but telling remarks about the Snow White production experience. Without directly criticizing Zegler, Gadot admitted in interviews that the set suffered from a lack of teamwork and described the production process as exhausting and fraught with setbacks. Her comments, while measured, spoke volumes, especially given ongoing rumors of tension behind the scenes. The implication that the film's failure may not have been due solely to external criticism, but also internal dysfunction, has only deepened scrutiny on Zegler's role within the project and raised further questions about the leadership dynamics on set. Meanwhile, Rachel Zegler's attempts at image rehabilitation have been repeatedly undermined by the resurfacing of past controversies, including inflammatory social media posts in which she insulted Trump supporters. While Zegler later issued an apology, prominent conservative voices like Megyn Kelly dismissed the gesture as insincere, arguing that it was more performative damage control than genuine remorse. These earlier scandals have continued to haunt Zegler, feeding into a broader perception that her public image is carefully curated rather than authentic. In the context of the Snow White disaster, these past missteps have resurfaced with renewed intensity, making her road to redemption even steeper. In a rare moment of vulnerability that momentarily shifted public perception, Zegler recently shared on social media that her dog was battling a severe illness, asking fans for emotional support during what she described as an incredibly difficult time. The heartfelt post momentarily softened the tone of the conversation, with some fans and even critics pausing their attacks to express sympathy. Yet, while this emotional appeal humanized Zegler in the eyes of some, industry insiders report that Hollywood remains wary. Rumors suggest that her future projects are now under review, casting decisions are being quietly reconsidered, and major studios are hesitant to move forward with her as a leading face amid ongoing controversy. This hesitance underscores the severity of the fallout, as Zegler's association with the Snow White debacle may have lasting consequences for her career trajectory. The larger implications of the Snow White failure go beyond box office numbers or individual reputations. It speaks to a broader crisis of audience trust in Disney's current remake strategy. While Jack Black and the Minecraft team connected with viewers through sincerity, simplicity, and respect for the original material, Snow White alienated its base by focusing on modern political messaging at the expense of fairy tale charm. As Disney quietly cancels or pauses other remake projects behind closed doors, analysts predict the company will pivot towards safer, less politicized content to avoid another disaster of this scale. The collapse of Snow White has become a cultural flashpoint, not just about Rachel Zegler, but about the risk of studio arrogance and the importance of listening to the very audiences who keep these stories alive.